Welcome to a 1v1 on Langreskaya. This game is Glazterix versus Herzy. We have Overcommando West in the north base versus Soviets in the south. Glazterix going with a Volksgrenadier start, double conscript start from Herzy. Stern Pioneers moving straight towards the cutoff, and the SWS half-track is making its way up towards them, potentially to assist in the opening engagement. Volksgrenadiers making a push for the strategic point by the VP. Conscripts branching out to take the victory point and strategic points outside of the Soviet base. In fact, the SWS is driving straight toward the center VP, driving around the road.
We have taken it. Good work,
Looks like he's just
comrades.
scouting
This
with it,
now belongs to us.
maybe destroying some cover. Yeah, he's just destroying some cover. Man, my frame rate at this camera angle is a lot better than it normally is. I know you can't tell on the stream because OBS limits it to 30 frames per second, but for me it looks really smooth. I'm enjoying the optimization patch.
Well done, comrades. The point is ours.
At least when my input delay isn't well over 1 second.
Fresh conscripts have arrived. We have it. Covering fire!
Conscripts making their way towards the center, getting some shots off at Stern Pioneers from medium range. Stern Pioneers moving up to assist against these conscripts. These conscripts making their way as close as they can. Trying to get out of range of those Stern Pioneers, but he was a little bit late to react and taking heavy damage. Meanwhile, these conscripts are going to disengage and try and take the central victory point as they retreat. Meanwhile, over here, the combat engineers are taking more territory when we have a fourth conscript squad hitting the field. Glazterix, on the other hand, has only produced 2 Volksgrenadiers before purchasing himself his mechanized regiment headquarters against conscript spam. Interesting choice. Maybe he's thinking flak half-track, I guess. Not sure. These conscripts oorah across the road to get in position against those Volksgrenadiers. And Glazterix finds himself in a really tough position. He's going to be outnumbered, outgunned at every turn, having purchased such an early tech structure against conscript spam. Herzy getting himself no base upgrades yet for his conscripts, though, which is going to leave him a little bit weak. Without having access to Molotovs, massive damage on that conscript squad, and it will be able to get to safety. These conscripts are going to be forced away as well. He just can't quite finish off those Stern Pios because he doesn't have Molotovs. And he easily could have purchased those by now, up to 100 fuel already. Those Stern Pioneers might try and charge across the road, though, which I think is a mistake. Although, unfortunately, he may not have been watching that engagement as closely as he could have been, and he didn't focus fire them as they were crossing. Meanwhile, we have mines going down on the road here in the north, on the point itself. Good use of those combat engineers to protect that flank, and we have conscripts making their way out of the base to try and grab some territory here on the right. While Glazterix goes for a cutoff here on the left, grabbing the munitions and fuel, it looks like, with the wounded Volksgrenadier squad. Meanwhile, these wounded Stern Pioneers are going to circle around and not do anything. 2 fresh Volksgrenadier squads have been produced, so it's now 4 conscripts and combat engineers against 4 Volksgrenadiers and Stern Pioneers. Stern Pioneers risk getting wiped by those conscripts and they will be forced to retreat. However, there are Volksgrenadiers on 2 different flanks of those conscripts and they will be forced away. But reinforcements are on the way. 3 full conscript squads, freshly reinforced, should be able to push away everything here on the right side and get some territory back under control. Meanwhile, the left side will successfully be taken by these Volksgrenadiers, but shock No, not shock anything. Counterattack tactics has been chosen by Herzy, and he will be sending shock troops to the left side soon, probably. But it's going to be a bit of manpower before he can afford those. We do have field infirmary purchased as well as Molotovs getting researched, so no quick shock troops. Instead, he's going to research Molotovs and try to improve the effectiveness of the conscripts he already has on the field. Volksgrenadiers taking the left side everywhere. Remain completely unchecked. Molotov going into the building. Forces away those Volksgrenadiers. Stern Pioneers are making their way to the front line. Dealing heavy damage to the conscripts, though will be forced to retreat. In fact, he's going to make a full retreat of everything except for his combat engineers, which he also retreated, actually. So now his map situation is terrible. He didn't bring in shock troops, so he's completely lost the left, and his Molotov investment did not pay off over here in the right. Losing himself both fuel points and both munitions points, but fortunately he does have shock troops on the field now, and this Schwer Panzer headquarters is easily going to get constructed here on the munitions point before he can do anything about it, and it shuts down shock troop play quite hard. But he is tier 2, so he will at least be able to get a field gun out and hopefully be able to use that to potentially take out that. Lot of munitions being spent by Glazterix here on these mines, just putting all of his eggs in one basket. If his opponent were to get a minesweeper in this area, bad. And all of that munitions just gets chain reaction exploded there. That's 90 munitions he just lost on those mines to get one model loss on a shock troop squad. So that's not good. Smoke grenade goes out to buy those shock troops some time while conscripts make their way up to the front lines. And massive damage being inflicted there. Grenade also going out. Ooh! Nearly wiping 2 squads. Shock troops dealing massive damage to those Volksgrenadiers because they just refuse to drop. Wow, and those shock troops just looked like, oh, almost forced away all 4 of those squads, but the Schwer Panzer headquarters chipped in at the last second, winning the engagement for the Oberkommando player. Unfortunately, here on the left side, he will get forced away by these massed Soviet infantry. Conscripts closing in on these Volksgrenadiers. Could be a close engagement. Conscript models dropping too fast. And the Volksgrenadiers will be able to retake the final strategic point there on the right side. Lux is hitting the field at 9 minutes, which is really fast. I don't think that Herzy is really ready for it. That being said, there are some mines over there on the left that the Lux could potentially hit. And a field gun is in production now. A little bit late, but it will hit the field before anything too catastrophic happens. Nice mine placement there will damage the engine of that Lux. Will be forced back for repairs. Meanwhile, pretty healthy blob of Volksgrenadiers pushing its way out on the left, forcing away those conscripts. Lots of nice mine placement here, though. Could potentially get some model losses. Only one model wiped there on those Sturm Pioneers.
Taking effective fire!
Meanwhile, these shock troops are getting shut down by the Schwer Panzer headquarters. And he's actually had fuel transfer on this whole time, I guess, which would explain how he got that looks out so quickly, in addition to his really good map control. It does, of course, mean that he has not had access to healing. Potentially getting that looks out so early could be worth it. Sturm Pioneers take the strategic point while Volksgrenadiers grab the fuel. Herzy has not really spent his fuel on anything. Looks like he's saving for a KV-1. But it's going to be a little while before he can bring that in. Still 2 command points away.
Combat unit ready.
Looks has been fully repaired, and now the Obersoldaten will start hitting the field.
Receiving enemy fire!
Shock troops forcing away all infantry on the left side. Conscripts will move to retake some ground, but the Lux is on its way back to the front line as well. We do have AT grenades researched by these conscripts, so he will effectively be able to screen the Lux that way. Meanwhile, some territory harassment happening here in the south. Ooh, that Lux just hit another mine, but unfortunately the field gun is not nearly close enough to follow up.
Infantry attacking in force!
Conscripts trying to stay out of range of the Schwer Panzer headquarters. They do manage to take the strategic point before being forced to retreat. Volksgrenadiers will just take it right back.
Back up to full force!
Left side has been taken by the conscripts once again. Field gun is now in position to prevent another push by that Lux.
To a static building. Contact! Small arms fire!
Molotov goes out. Definitely could have won the conscripts that engagement. I'm surprised he retreated.
Secured!
Volksgrenadiers will be forced to retreat very soon in their current condition. Meanwhile, conscripts taking up a position in this house, firing on these Volksgrenadiers. Dealing some minor damage. Obersoldaten are making their way up to assist as well, but a fresh squad of shock troops has also been fielded. And the Lux is once again on its way to the front lines to support. Oh, Ober's about to hit that mine. That could be nasty. Maybe not. They're pretty spread out. In fact, they circumvented entirely. Conscripts dealing decent damage to them, however. They're simply trying to focus down the field gun. Shock troops are making their way up, and the Obersoldaten will be forced to retreat. Sturm Pioneers about to take up a position in that house, though. Could deal nasty damage to these conscripts at close range. Molotov going out, however. In addition to that, this conscript squad dangerously close to getting taken out, and the Lux is flanking around, trying to take out the field gun. Oh, but he's not microwaving it as well as he could be, and lets the field gun get a shot off before clearing it out. Meanwhile, these shock troops have forced all infantry away from this area, wiping a Volksgrenadier squad, in fact.
Promotion achieved!
But a fresh squad of Obersoldaten is on the way. And if that Lux hits a mine on its way out, it could potentially get taken down with an AT grenade or something, but not sure that's gonna happen. Conscripts will be able to retake the AT gun, and the looks should be able to get to safety. Squads taking some territory there on the left. As the looks makes its way back to base for repairs. It is Vet 1 now, but it's only got 5 kills, so it hasn't actually inflicted that much damage. Just clearing out the field gun. It's been forced off the field just by mines many times, really reducing the impact that it's had in its sort of short window of opportunity, since the KV-1s are going to start hitting the field soon. In fact, he could have called one in a while ago. The only reason he hasn't is manpower bleed. But he is going to be... he's going to have a KV-1 in time for that looks next push. Meanwhile, Glazterix is up to 142 fuel, so his Panther will be arriving soon, but I think the KV-1 will have a window of opportunity to destroy that Schwer Panzer headquarters before the Panther arrives. Shock troops get a nice grenade off, wiping one Obersoldaten model, but unfortunately can't do anything more. AT grenades getting thrown on the looks, and it's hugely overextended. I don't think he could have timed this overextension worse. The KV-8 is already on its way. That AT grenade was honestly not even necessary. That looks is dead. It's a sitting duck. No chance of recovering that, and that's going to leave the Schwer Panzer headquarters that much more vulnerable for the Soviets' next big push. There it goes, out of control. After wiping a handful more conscript models. KV-1 is now going to move up to fire on the Schwer Panzer headquarters. If the field gun were to move up to support, it would surely be able to destroy that extremely quickly. There is no anti-tank on the field whatsoever from Glazterix because, as I said before, he has had fuel transfer on this entire time, leaving him with almost no munitions for Shreks. He could purchase one, which he probably should. Otherwise, his Volksgrenadiers are basically useless at this point. Oh no, he's wasting his munitions on grenades. 2 grenades. Ooh. He does wipe a shock troop squad while Herzy's not looking, but that high explosive barrage just inflicted massive losses on his squads there. Meanwhile, he hasn't been doing anything on the right side to prevent the KV-1 from just freely destroying the Schwer HQ. His Raketenwerfer is on the field, but it can't get there in time, and the Schwer HQ does go down. That KV-1 is probably the most dramatic entrance I've ever seen a KV-1 make. And while the benefits of the mechanized regiment headquarters actually were not bad up until this point, giving him free repairs on the looks, giving him a really quick looks, and bringing in his Panther actually potentially rather quickly. Now the weaknesses are starting to become a little bit more apparent as we see that he has no Panzer Shreks and not really any anti-tank at all, except for now 1 Raketenwerfer, and he's really going to struggle against his opponent's KV-1 after it's done getting repaired. And now that his Schwer Panzer headquarters has been destroyed, he cannot bring in a Panther, and he's going elite armor. Potentially going to try to fill his armor gap with Panzer IVs.
The weapon team is back to full strength.
But unfortunately, even 2 Panzer IVs are not nearly as good as 1 Panther. Against KV-1s, they might perform sort of okay. At least they don't have to deal with IS-2s or ISU-152s, but still, not a very impressive medium tank. Especially for their incredibly high cost. Recon plane gets shot down.
Under fire! Enemy movement! On the flank!
And we actually have Tier 4 being constructed by Herzy here. Possibly thinking of getting himself a Su-85, I guess, or a Katyusha. Usually, with counterattack tactics, rather than the Katyusha, you can just get yourself a B4. But I guess he would rather have something from this tech structure. Oh, nasty high explosive barrage. Why isn't he moving out of the blast zone? Oh man, that was a devastating high explosive barrage. Now Glazterix really has just about nothing left except for 2 over squads and some Volks with no Shrek. Ouch. He's gonna have to do something amazing with these Panzer IVs to stand any chance. It's bleeding manpower like crazy, which is making it difficult to call those tanks in. Throws a bundle grenade, doesn't do anything. He will be able to win against these conscripts, however. Molotov going out before they're forced to retreat. Obersoldaten maintain control of the right side fuel point.
Ready for action. Attention. Ready yourself for orders.
He is not reinforcing his infantry squads, so I definitely think he is just desperately trying to get his manpower up for the tank column as quickly as he can, and figure out what to do from there. His opponent has AT grenades, a field gun, a KV-1. Honestly, I don't think that those Panzer IVs are going to cut it.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
He's gonna have to be pretty impressive. Also, I think that was a
Send orders.
flare that just killed an Obersoldaten model. Nice flare usage. Good to see that ability being utilized. Bundle grenade takes out 1 Shawshrew model. Obersoldaten will make it away. They are Vet 2. And finally, Panzer IV call-in is available. Unfortunately, he has spent every ounce of his munitions on grenades, and therefore he cannot afford the extremely important armor skirts and pintle machine gun upgrades on these Panzer IVs. In order to fully equip both of these tanks, requires 160 plus another 100, 260 munitions to actually get some return on that investment. Oh no! Oh, Raketenwerfer gets wiped. Obersoldaten squad gets wiped. Oh jeez. Glazterix is absolutely hanging on by a thread. He needs to do something amazing with these tanks to stand any chance, and it looks like he's going to go straight for that Katyusha and try and get revenge. Both of his opening shots miss. The field gun is well positioned for his charge. One of them is already about to get taken out. He's trying to get a shot off on the Katyusha, and it does connect. But one of his Panzer IVs has already been destroyed, and this is not an investment he can afford to lose. Dealing nice damage to the KV-1's rear armor, circling around the field gun, gets a nice shot off as well, and the Panzer IV will be forced back for repairs. Fortunately, during that push, he did take out the Katyusha. Not really sure that he traded very cost-effectively there, especially considering he has virtually no map control. His opponent will be able to crank out another Katyusha easily. By comparison, he can't afford to make any more Panzer IVs for the next rest of the game, probably. This is the only vehicle he's going to make. At least the Volksgrenadiers managed to recover the Obersoldaten MG34, turning them into a sort of poor man's Obersoldaten squad. In fact, they're almost better than an Obersoldaten squad because they're 5 men, and he really needs that extra durability at this stage of the game. Meanwhile, Raketenwerfer is grabbing the cutoff. Obersoldaten moving up to try and retake these munitions. Herzy's KV-1 is back for repairs. Meanwhile, the combat engineers are not repairing it. Probably should be in. An Su-85 is actually hitting the field, building directly to counter that Panzer IV, I suspect.
We have a new Su-85.
That's right, Pez, that's me. I remember you. I'm pretty sure we played against you a lot, right? definitely recognize your name. Oh. And the game is over. Glazterix surrendered when he saw the sheer might of Herzy's army. And yet another spectacular failure for the elite armor commander. I don't think there are any real surprises there. That being said, I think there were some pretty critical mistakes made by Glazterix, in particular his refusal to purchase any Panzerschrecks, leaving him extraordinarily vulnerable to that initial KV-1. I hope you enjoyed the game. If you did, please send me your replays and I'm happy to do a cast for you. Otherwise, that's it. Thanks for watching.